So welcome to AI Insights with John Roese again. Today I wanted to talk about not technology, but just how we describe the process and the approach that we should be taking on AI. Now, the context is many of you we've been talking to for quite a while, and we've talked about the methodology we use, which very much is around knowing, what you're trying to do and how to do it. It has two very important questions that you have to navigate to get into production. And as we've been on that journey, we've been describing the mechanism of figuring out where to target and making sure you're aligned to a process and making sure you're going to get a big ROI out of it and really just learning how to prioritize. And as I've been going around the world having these conversations with chief AI officers and CTOs and CIOs, what I've seen is a resonance to that. People react positively. They get it. And they kind of know that there's something there, that there's something different about this approach versus maybe, every other approach in AI, which starts with technology, which is, I have a chatbot, what do I want to do with it? I have an agent, what should I do with it? And so as we've been having these discussions, what's emerged is this term that I think has some resonance. It's this idea that what we are doing, what we've been describing for like the last year, is a business-first AI strategy. It is a strategy in which AI is a combination of technology and business transformation. And what we've realized as we've gone on this journey inside of Dell and what we've seen with many of our customers is that the right way to prosecute AI in the enterprise is that you start with the business side. You have a business-first approach, which means you start by deciding what is it that AI is going to do to my business? What process is going to change? What part of my organization and how I do that work is going to be transformed? And it turns out, now that we have experience doing this, that if you start with that, if your first discussion is about what changes in the way the business operates when you apply this new technology, and then you get into the technical discussion, and then you find the right way to do it, and then you find the tools, you end up almost inevitably with AI projects that achieve the thing that we're all after, which is an ROI and a business impact. I shared with you that, as the chief AI officer early in my journey, I had no products in production. And so what I ended up with is being a cost center. Everything I did cost money and produced nothing. And then when we pivoted and said, no, it's sales, services, supply chain, engineering, it's these particular processes, it's this particular approach, and we started to get these things into production, we started to achieve 50 or 100 to 1 ROI on some of these projects. And what that started to do is create the flywheel effect, that our AI projects were now creating massive ROI, which means the appetite to do more of them got higher, the friction to do them got lower. And that all correlated back to a very simple thing that happened that we now can describe as business-first AI. We started by focusing on the business outcome. And once we understood that clearly, then we made the technology decisions that would allow us to quickly achieve those outcomes. So, maybe it's semantics, but I think it's an interesting observation. And it's been very helpful when we start to talk to people about what is the right way to do AI in the enterprise. And in our world now, the right way is that you should do it with a business-first mentality, which means find the business problem, then apply the technology. Technology is super important, but the technology, if you start with it, does not guarantee success. But if you start with a business objective that you know that if you change this, there will be significant ROI, then the application of technology actually becomes the easy part. And once that gets into production, you're almost guaranteed to get that flywheel moving. So hopefully this is informative and useful. It's just words, but those words are very powerful to kind of help people understand the culture, which is you start with the business objectives, you start with the business outcome, you start with the business transformation, and then AI is a vehicle to make that vision of business transformation real by using these technologies, and the net result is an acceleration of that flywheel, of that model in which AI projects just simply produce business impact that matters. So.